Bionics, and I'm here to talk to you about practicing switch access, mostly through play. I look at these conferences year after year, and I look for kind of trends, what we're seeing as far as conference presentations, and every year there's something about switches. How do we get lots and lots and lots of repetitions with switches? How do we get practice with switches? How do we make switches? Like, there's always all different sorts of presentations about switches. And this year, there's also a bunch of presentations about AI. So this session is going to kind of combine practicing with switches and AI. We have a really short time, so I am going to jump into the two topics that we're here to talk about: chat crackers and a trial guide. Chat crackers definitely has the better name. So what in the world do I mean by chat crackers? So chat crackers is a program that we at Control Bionics, and I'm going to say we very loosely. James, who is in the back there, is actually the creator of this. I'm just talking about it. The idea here is that the chat plays up on ChatGPT, our AI source, and crackers refers to breadcrumbs, the path that you leave behind you as you are, in this case, going on an adventure, creating a piece of artwork. But chat breadcrumbs didn't sound as fun as chat crackers. The idea behind chat crackers is that it provides for an integrated, errorless way to use switches, to practice. That's fun, it's errorless, and when you're having a chat crackers day, there are no mistakes and everything turns out beautifully. So we're all going to cross our fingers that everything turns out beautifully during this demonstration. All right, so chat crackers currently, we'll talk about these 3 rocket ships at the end, but currently chat crackers is composed of 2 different types of activities: creating artwork and going on adventures and writing a story about that adventure. So we're going to start off first with 3 examples of creating artwork. I'm going to show you a video, and then I'll go into the software and show you what this actually looks like. Remember, the whole goal is for the individual to get practice using their switch, whether it's the NeuroNode from Control Bionics or any other switch, get practice using it in an errorless, fun way. Initially, these have nothing to do with communication. We'll talk a little bit more about how we're adding in communication later. So chat crackers creating art. I'll give you a demonstration of this because the internet access is what it is in a giant convention. I've done some videos of this so that you can see how it actually works. So we'll start off with this video, and I'm actually going to have to change my display here so that you can see it.
Artwork activity.
I will start it over in a second here. All right, so now if I open up, okay, good, you can see it. All right, here we go.
Let's do a drawing activity, an artwork activity.
Paintings.
The first choice we make is between the style of art. So impressionist, watercolor, oil, or cubist.
Cubism.
Next is what is going to be drawn, what the subject is of the picture. Let's pick a house.
Porch.
Or porch. Next is an item that's in the picture.
2 ducks. Horse.
And one more object or item that's going to be in the picture.
Small boat. Working on your masterpiece.
So in a moment, we'll see the prompt that is going to be sent to AI, a cubist painting of a porch with ducks and a small boat. Let's see what we get. Definitely cubist. There's a porch. Here are the ducks. And here is the small boat. So everything we asked for is there. Now the interesting thing is, if I go back,
painting.
So that's one example of the breadcrumbs that we were picking, because we picked a porch, or first we picked cubist style, then we picked a porch, then we picked ducks, a boat, and then it created this picture. I'm going to skip ahead in my little video because I went through the process again. I picked exactly the same thing, And you can see it came up with a different picture, which is really fun because every time we create something, it's going to be unique and different. So how did we do this? Well, here is our program called, let me get rid of the background here and see if it's a little easier. So this is using the Cosmos Connect software. If you are familiar with that, you may have seen it as something to play video games or access maybe a feeding robot. We're doing this in a totally different way. This is just using the software, and we can go in and we can pick our same prompts here. So actually, I'm going to pick a different example here. We're going to go ahead and pick Cartoon Crazy. So that's one switch activation to get in there. Now, someone tell me, do you want muddy, yucky, slippery, or poofy? I heard yucky the loudest, so we're going to go with yucky. Cat, dog, mom, or dad? Cat.
Cat.
Eating, running.
Throwing.
Throwing, juggling. Juggling,
Throwing.
of course, that's what we want.
Juggling.
So I cannot guarantee that this is going to work. One more thing, worms, candy, noodles, feathers. Noodles? Okay, noodles.
Working on your masterpiece.
So it's working on our masterpiece. It's going to show us what it's sending to AI, a cartoon of a wacky cat juggling noodles. Because this goes out to the internet, and the internet is what it is here, it may or may not work. But the key is that I did a cat, I did wacky, I did, it decided it did not want to work for that. I did a cat, I did wacky, we did noodles, we did juggling. So that was 4, and to start off was the 5th time. We had 5 different opportunities to use our switch to create one picture. So kind of cool, different application. I'm going to launch this one more time so I can show you not another drawing activity, but I'm going to show you a story activity.
Paintings.
So first I'm going to make sure that I can do this the way I want to, because I'm not scanning right now. I'm using direct selection.
Cartoon Crazy.
All of these are going to be
paintings.
Options for me to get a switch hit, so to practice my switch access. So we're going to go into one of our 2 different storytelling adventures. We're going to go into Myra. I knew I was going to say it wrong. Myra Takes Manhattan. So this was actually built for a little girl who lives in New York City, and about her adventure going shopping. So the first thing we need to do is pick where she goes shopping and how she spends her day. So we're going to click once to start the story.
Tiffany's.
We're going to go to Tiffany's first because why not, right?
Diamond ring.
What should I buy at Tiffany's? A diamond ring. All right.
You bought a diamond ring.
So it's got some feedback as we're practicing using our switches.
Street food.
All right,
Macy's.
We're going to go to Macy's next.
Flower
Just
vase.
another switch click. What should we buy at Macy's? Chocolate. Excellent.
You bought a box of chocolate.
Ooh. Oh, it's applause this. Oh, it's eating this time. Perfect.
Museum.
All right. Now we're going to
Street
go a
food.
little more lowbrow, and we're going to go
Pretzel.
eat from a street vendor. Actually, I think I'm on 5 switch hits now. Let's get a
dog.
hot dog because
You
that's kind of
stopped to eat
classic.
a hot dog.
More eating. We could go on and
Tiffany's.
pick the different activities, but that's
Goodbye,
enough for right
Manhattan.
now. So we're going to
Goodbye,
go
Manhattan.
and say goodnight to Manhattan. So I know you cannot read this, so I will tell you what this is. These are our breadcrumbs and our prompt that we're giving ChatGPT. We're saying, please create a 150-word story. We could change that to a 15-word story, to a 500-word story, whatever we want, about this 11-year-old girl named Moira in a wheelchair and her puppy, and these are all the places she went to. So now we click to create the story, and it's working. So not only did she get practice with her switches as she's going through errorless practice, because it didn't matter what she picked, now we have a story that we can read. It's usually, there we go. It's putting the story together. Moira, an 11-year-old girl with a puppy named Lilydale, went on a shopping trip in Manhattan, and it tells you basically the whole story. We can save that and then go back and look at all of the different stories that we've made over time, and Moira can go back and listen to those stories.
Moira, an 11-year-old
Here it
girl
comes.
with a puppy named Lilydale, went on a shopping trip in Manhattan.
So she can hear it, she can save it, but mostly she's practicing using her switch in a very fun way. Yes? Can it be printed with the story and the pictures? That's a great question. I think right now it would be screenshots, and then yes, you can print the story off. That's a really great option. Did I repeat the question? Okay. All right. Other questions? Okay. So yes, it will save the pictures and save the story. So you'll have everything. It's just a matter of getting it together. That's a great question. Is it in different languages? So that is actually going to lead me to my next point, is that this is completely designed to be user created. So if I wanted to, I could come in here, see these rocket ships? These are really here to say, the sky's the limit. You could come in and create anything in whatever language you wanted to create it in. And you could have it on the screen in that language. You could have the story in that. I imagine we could do the story in a different language as well, because it's the prompts that you're giving to ChatGPT. So yes. And that's really, like, the last part of this section is to say, if you have scanners who need practice using their switches, and playing with the switch toy maybe doesn't do it, turning music on and off is great, but it doesn't do it, this is a platform that you could use to create. And so afterwards, I'm happy, I would love to talk with you. James would love to talk with you. If you don't get a chance to see us here, we're also in our booth, because this is something we'd love to get out there and get more and more people trying it out. Let me flip back to PowerPoint for a second here. Just make sure you can see it. Okay. Because we do know that in terms of augmentative communication, our switch users need plenty of opportunities to practice using their switches, but they also need opportunities to do that in a more communicative context. So one thing that we find is sometimes we will have devices go out for trials. In the US at least, insurance companies oftentimes require a trial before you get a device. And now we have someone who's a beginning switch user, who's just learning how to use the switch, and they're probably also just learning about communication in many instances. And we have teams and families who are looking for as much support as they can. So we have a brand new trial guide that is designed to do a couple different things. The first one here is just designed to say, hey, let's set some expectations for this trial. We're probably not going from 0 to completely independent communication of anything in a 4-week trial. So let's set some expectations for what we think we could see. And then, as you go through that week, here are some lessons. Here are some activities to try within the software that we have access to with Control Bionics. So we start off with simple, basically, let's use switches to play in an errorless way. Now let's use those same switches to communicate in an errorless way. Now, week 3, let's combine those. Let's do some switch, some communication, but add more choices in. And then let's look at what exists in the communication software and see if we can begin to move someone into more traditional communication pages. And then at the end, how do we summarize this to show insurance that there was purposeful use, that there was success in this trial, even though they didn't get to independent communication of everything they wanted to? What did they do that was different that they couldn't do before? So not only are these PDFs, but we also have all of the content on the device. This is the Grid 3 software because that's what we use on our devices. So for trial week 1, you go in and there's the 5 activities that were part of the lesson plan. For trial week 2, 5 different activities that were part of the lesson plan. So we've tried to package it in a way that's going to be easy for teams, for family members to use. Right now, this is only in English, but it also was finished like yesterday, so that doesn't mean that anything else can't happen to it. All right, so with this, I would love to give you a chance to see it. Give me feedback. How can I make it better? What can I do with it? So here's my email. I'm also in the booth, or if you're willing, I have a scanner here. I can scan your badge when we're done and just make myself a note to send it to you and follow up and get some ideas from you. Questions? All right, well, thank you for being here. I'll go, my colleague Megan has the scanner in the back, so if you want me to send any of this information, just go ahead and let her scan it. We'll make a note that it's specifically from this session, and I will get back in touch with you. Thank you very much.